Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Roots of Success podcast. I am your host, Nate the Great, and today we have the incredible guest, my guy, Shawn Wells. How are you doing today, brother?
I'm doing great, man. Glad to be on. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm glad we can do this. I know you're a natural with podcasts, with as many as you do, and I'm glad we could carve some time out today within your busy schedule to really just get this in.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely. Absolutely.
yeah.
Let's do it.
Yeah, for sure. So, Shawn, basically the way I like to, roll these things out with a pod, I always let the guests to open up with a little bit about who they are, basically what they do. You can summarize it up. And then from what you do kind of to how you got going, what really made you start from the beginning. It doesn't have to be a documentary or anything, but just the shortened version to how you got to where you're at today.
Yeah, I'm a biochemist. I'm known as the world's greatest formulator. I've formulated about 500 supplements that are out there on the market.
Wow.
Over 10 patents, 20 more on the way. And I'm also a registered dietitian. I worked 10 years clinically as a Chief Clinical Dietitian, Certified Sports Nutritionist. So I've got a book coming out, The Energy Formula. That's a biohacking book for the masses. And that'll be out April 1st. You can get that on Amazon.com and all the cool places. But as far as what led me to that, I think like when you find people that are atop their game, when they're leaders in their field, it's usually because of some trauma, some event, some reason to fix themselves, and that's definitely the case with me. I grew up bullied and had a lot of issues with severe depression, suicidal thoughts, and I was morbidly obese, junk food junkie as a kid. I was got to like 300 pounds. I'm 6'2", but then I swung the other way. I was 150 pounds and anorexic, weighing myself every time I peed to see if I had lost weight. And then I hit a point where I was working out in orthorexic, where I was doing 4 hours of workouts a day, eating all the meals, the protein, the supplements. And, some of that led to my passion around supplements as well. But, a lot of points I'm known for biohacking. I've done probably 250 podcasts. I'm going to be on Ben Greenfield in February. I've been on his show before.
It's huge.
Done TV about 15 times and 3 documentaries. And I've done a lot of stuff. And I'm known for biohacking. I'm known for keto. These things. I've done keto for about 20 years. But a lot of that was revolving around me desiring achievement, not loving myself, and looking for some type of love in the process, because I didn't feel like I got it when I was growing up. Wow. And I was so achievement driven as an entrepreneur, working 80 to 100 hours a week, and my body was breaking down. There was 6 months I was in bed and I couldn't get out of bed with this pain and inflammation, with Epstein-Barr virus, Fibromyalgia, chronic fatigue syndrome, Hashimoto's, all these things. And then I got a pituitary adenoma, a brain tumor.
Holy.
I mean, I went through a lot of stuff. Even though I knew how to do all these things, all the biohacks were to just keep me running. But it's not until 2020 and essentially COVID that I was able to really start taking a step back and doing plant medicine journeys, doing work with therapists, like Byron Katie style work, doing work with mentors, like getting the right mentors around me, being in masterminds, that I was able to start reassembling what Shawn is, and loving Shawn, and being proud of my accomplishments, and being able to actually look back in admiration at all the things I've done, and not just always seeking the next step, the next step, the next step, the next step. And it's never good enough. And I need to level up, and I need to get to the next point. Now I'm just proud of who I am, and I'm still achieving, but not in a wounded way.
Man, I love that. I got a lot of respect for you. I mean, that's huge. Just everything that you've been through. I feel as if people in general, they You know, we tend to make a lot of excuses, and it's like, oh, why did this happen to me? Like, I can't get myself out of this. But you were literally the prime example of somebody that has been through, I don't want to say it all, but you've been through a ton of things. And you could have easily just had that doubt, you know, crept in your head and I'm sure you might have, but you didn't let it define you, right? You let that make you who you are today, which it's incredible because I feel like people just look at the top at where somebody is. They don't really look at the in-between things on how somebody and how Shawn got there, which is why I really like to highlight these kinds of moments, you know, just especially with health, because you only got one body.
Ah, it's so true. I was stuck in that like Gary Vee style, like hustle and grind and, you know, just grinding the shit out of myself and just thinking like that's the solution is like heads down. And like, you know, 10 years will pass and you've been heads down. You know, I used to pride myself on being in like all these vacations in Maui and Fiji and all these places. And I worked the entire time. And I thought those suckers, man, they're just enjoying life. Like, what a bunch of lazy idiots. Like, this is how I forge ahead. And I look back now and I don't live with any regret. All of it served me. You know, it's just I'm evolving as a person and all of it got me here. So I don't live with regret. But, you know, I think now I take the time to be mindful, to be present, to, you know, step away, the digital detox at times and just enjoy the people around me and these amazing moments and amazing places and not just work through everything heads down. The idea of grinding, you know, hustle, yeah, we've got to, you know, be in the sympathetic nervous system state where we hustle sometimes, but we're supposed to be in our flow, parasympathetic state sometimes too. And grind to me is like ultra sympathetic where we're literally pieces are breaking off and there's heat and we're breaking down. I mean, we're literally, the word grind, like that tells you that it's not a good state to be in chronically. And that's where I was. And I don't think that, you know, people talk about being in the right place, the right time in some key moment, but I was probably in the right place, right time 100 times, but I was heads down.
Yeah.
I wasn't seeing it.
Makes sense.
And now that I'm heads up and I'm interacting and I'm loving and I'm connecting and empathetic and thriving, well, now it just seems like I'm manifesting everything and all these right situations are happening and there's momentum. But it's just because I'm heads up, you know, and I'm feeling that thriving and I'm seeing that person, I'm seeing that situation, and I'm no longer heads down.
That's key. You said a word there. Present, you know, staying present. I feel like now, especially in this day and age with all the technology that we have, there's a lot of distractions. EMF's at an all-time high, right? All these frequencies that are going through the air, it's bonkers. So I personally, and I know the audience would love to know as well, what are maybe a couple to few ways on how somebody can become more present? Maybe they feel as if they got a little mental fog and they can't get out of their funk, you know? So what would you recommend are some ways to stay present?
You know, I can tell you, like, we can get to like meditation and things like that, but one of the most key ones that's so simple is sleep. If you are tired, you go for what you know and you will be heads down. You know, you won't do things, you won't be as present. They've literally shown that your neurons function less optimally. They're functioning tired. Your conduction speed is lower. And so you'll crave sugar, you'll crave caffeine because you are in a fog, because you're not functioning optimally. So you're not going to be as present if you're tired. So you need to set a good circadian rhythm sleep schedule, like to where you're going to sleep at the same time every night. Otherwise, you're creating what's called like social jet lag, where you're going to sleep, like let's say on the weekend, you're going to sleep 2-3 hours later. That's throwing off your circadian rhythm. It's like you traveling to a different country. So you need to be consistent with your sleep schedule. You need to create what's called a sleep fortress, where you have blackout curtains or wear a sleep mask. You know, you don't have the LED lights and all those things that are disturbing your sleep quality. I also, one of my biggest hacks is using sleep tape.
Oh, okay.
Literally taping your mouth shut, because mouth breathing is super counterproductive to your quality of sleep, your HRV, your level of recovery, heart rate variability. It's actually amazing to transform yourself into a nasal breather. You'll feel much more refreshed on even less sleep. Like I've had nights where I've gotten 3 hours less sleep, but be more recovered.
Really?
Because I was using that tape. So
Holy smokes.
that's very cheap, something to do, and obviously taking supplements around that, things like melatonin, theanine, magnesium. Those are things I definitely recommend. And then, yes, meditation, like training yourself to be present, to quiet the inner critic, the distracted mind. That's very hard to do, especially in the digital age where we're so distracted constantly, and with our dopamine hits and hating ourselves and all these things. But being able to be quiet and present with yourself is a way to start to be present with others. I would say that's really important. Probably lastly, exercise is going to be a huge factor in that too. Is just moving your body, getting out into nature, getting that sunshine, the fresh air, grounding, using bare feet when you're out there for the geomagnetic forces.
That's true.
And just, connecting again, like it's one-on-one, it's one on you, it's one on nature. I mean, this is the way that you become present in moments is those types of things.
I love that. No, those are extremely insightful, especially the sleep. Holy smokes. I know Shawn Stevenson, he talks about that a ton. I had him on the podcast probably a year and a half ago, and just the things he was saying, I'm thinking, wow, everybody needs to know this. It's insane. Let me ask you this. Biohacking. I feel like, we're in 2021 now, and with us being in the 2020s, it's interesting because I feel like biohacking is literally, it's not anywhere near the peak yet. And it's shooting up there in terms of people becoming more familiar with it, people wanting to learn more about it. I know red light therapy, that's a huge one that's really starting to evolve. So for somebody that's like, Shawn, what the heck is biohacking? What is it? Because I get asked it a lot. People ask me, wait, Nate, you mentioned biohacking from time to time. What does that mean? And it's a term I feel that's very misinformed, and people are just simply uneducated about it. So I'm curious from your words, of course, what's your definition of biohacking, and why do people need to, look into it?
Yeah, and I think a lot of people have a negative perception around the word hacking.
Yeah.
So some people say, well, isn't hacking bad? And it's really hacking into your biology, biohacking, like shortcuts to improve health. The one negative aspect I would say about it, like in my kind of creative exploration of self, is that I have a history of being, this wounded entrepreneur, and the idea of like fixing myself quickly or that I'm broken is something that psychologically I've tried to take a turn from. I connect with the term because it's well known, but I think I'm at a point where, I do like the idea of health optimization more, that I'm not broken, that I was born perfect and beautiful and amazing. And there's ways that I can continue to grow, but I'm not just broken and need hacking. And, hacking can mean like cutting into and like some instant solution. And, I don't know that, like, while I don't like the long-term grind, I don't like the quick fix so much anymore either. Like, I want to be in the middle where I'm a great human being that's just learning how to grow.
I love that. Would you say, let's say somebody's in their teens, right? They're teenagers. How important is it for them to become aware of some of these different technologies that they can utilize, especially if they're on their phone 24/7, on social media?
That's a big one. That one's a scary one because it's leading to a lot of suicide and depression. And It literally is an addiction. Like dopamine is associated with addiction, these dopamine hits, and social networking revolves around manipulating that reward system, and where you feel like these highs and lows constantly in a way that's just not healthy, and especially in a young developing mind, to make that conditioning that they get used to. And you are seeing suicide rates just grow exponentially. And so I think there has to be ways to put healthy limits on those kinds of things, have them get outside, have them learn to meditate, have them connect with people IRL. That's really important, that they're having real relationships outside of these digital relationships, where they can really go spiraling down and really start to believe some of these things where everything's filtered, and you think that this person's living this perfect life and your life is miserable. And that's a dark path. So, in sports, when you're young is an incredible outlet to move your body, to connect with others, to have a healthy relationship around competitiveness, to build discipline. I would say those are amazing things that really, I feel like every child should be in some type of sport or some type of physical activity on a club level. Maybe they're not elite athletes, but something they can do to move their body and connect with other people.
Absolutely. Movement's so important, even if it's just going outside of the house and taking a walk. Something simple like that. People feel as if they have to go to the gym to just get steps in or to get in shape. That's not always the case.
No, there's actually new data that's coming out. I mean, while obviously it's healthy to work out, there's interesting new data where they're terming this exercise snacks, that it's actually more beneficial to work out in small increments throughout the day than just being sedentary and then having 1 hour of working out.
Really?
And they found that it takes about 45 minutes to undo the 23 hours of sedentary. So, it's not healthy to just be on the couch, to be on the office chair and, do that stuff all day long. We need to find 5 minutes here and there to at least move our bodies. So we're meant to be naturally moving. And so that's definitely a problem of this era, is just being extremely sedentary, and then your lymph and your blood and all these things aren't flowing like they need to. Your muscles, everything like this, all these tissues are dynamic. The fascia that connects around the muscles, they speak to each other. They need to be moving. Like animals don't go work out.
Right.
They just move throughout the day. Like you just saw my 15-year-old dog. That's my 12-year-old cat. They just move. They stretch. They move. They roll around. They interact. It's just natural movement, and we've gotten away from that.
Wow. That's so true. I'm curious, Shawn. What does a normal routine in the morning look like for you? As soon as you wake up, you don't have to go through the entire day, but just the morning into the afternoon when you really start getting in the flow.
Yeah, that's a great question, and something that I've really developed when I read Tim Ferriss's Tools of Titans. He found that all these super successful people, Arnold Schwarzenegger and, just it goes on and on and on, they had two things in common, that they were experimenters. They didn't view something as just failure or success. They viewed it as an experiment, and they say, now I know what it's not. Even when it's not a win, you learn. So you win or you win.
Yeah.
And that's a different mindset from people that are scared of failure. And then the other one was that they have a strong morning routine. Yeah. And I feel like that does set the tone for the day. If you wake up with your alarm clock going bam, 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 and then you roll out of bed, you're late, you grab your coffee, got to let the dog out. Where is the dog? Dog's taking too long. Oh my God, I got to get into traffic, sucking down coffee, get myself going. I'm in a brain fog. What has happened? And I'm going to eat a honey bun because I'm tired, and I need the caffeine and the sugar because I'm tired and I'm stressed. And then I get to work, start plowing into the emails. and I'm already overwhelmed. And, Jim, did you get your work done? Like the boss is really needing this. And I'm like, I'm trying to get through all these emails. And that's the way most people start their day. Versus if it takes getting up 15, 30 minutes earlier, I'm not talking about a lot of time, get up 15 to 30 minutes earlier. And that means going to bed a little earlier and thinking about what does it take for me to get 7.5 to 8 hours and sticking to that with that circadian rhythm.
That's right.
And so I fast first thing in the morning. I don't eat until about 11 o'clock.
Okay.
I have like about a 11 a.m. to 5 p.m., 6 p.m. window where I eat. Again, that's in circadian rhythm. Dr. Sachin Panda's data talks about eating with that daylight window.
Huh.
So you don't want to eat at night, which goes against your circadian rhythm.
Wow.
So you have a longer window, maybe during the summer, than you do the winter. But I do fast, and then and I do, first thing I do when I get up is I just do some deep breathing, and I take about 3 to 5 minutes to work through some breath, make sure I'm relaxing, make sure I don't look at my phone yet. And then I do some affirmations, and I think about like what I want to achieve with this day, like why I'm proud of myself, like just set out some positive things that I can feel. Typically the inner critic is so harsh with us. If anyone talked to you like you talk to you, you wouldn't be their friend. So you need to change that inner dialogue and actually say things about yourself that you're proud of and things that you love about yourself. And that sets a very different tone. Now of just doing breath work and saying positive things to myself, now I get out of bed and I do, some light stretching, move my body. Again, do that natural movement. Be kind of goofy with your body, a little dancey with your body. Use your body in, kind of, ways like that's, gets all the vertebrae moving, gets blood flowing. It's not about like, deep ballistic stretches. It's just about moving your body in kind of natural ways and getting that blood flowing, the lymph moving, all that stuff. And then, I'll take my dog for a walk along the lake here. I get some movement in. I obviously love to spend some time with my doggie as well. Pet love is very important to happiness. I'll listen to a podcast and I'll do some working out. Some days I do something like an F45 workout, which is like kind of like in between like Orange Theory and CrossFit. And then, sometimes I just do some stuff here at home. But yeah, it's just getting rolling like that. That's been helpful for me. And then, and then sometimes I even like, call someone that I really want to talk to, that I love, that I'm thinking about, and I start the day that way. I've actually created a group of 6 people, kind of create like a mini mastermind. I had it in a WhatsApp group, and now that's become Signal because, that's where we're at. But we have like a 1-2 minute message. We all check in with each other in the morning, say what we're happy about, what's going on with our lives, where we could use some help, where we could use some support. And we all just check in. And then once a week, we're doing Zoom calls. And, this group has just been an accountability group, lifting each other up, like cheering each other on, supporting each other on whatever we're launching or working on. And it's just been a powerful group that I'm blessed to have created and had people come into this circle with me. But I would tell people that it's really important to have mentors in your life, but also mentor other people so that you can have those skills both ways. And when you teach someone something, you really learn it and you anchor it inside you. And that's been important for me. I'm kind of like the papa bear of this group, if you will, like more the sage mentor, but it's helped me as I'm evolving with myself to really think about the things that I'm teaching to them. Like, am I living these things? Like, am I doing these things that I'm talking about? So that's a really powerful thing, to mentor other people. We always hear about being mentored. And having someone that's super accomplished in your life, but are you mentoring others? And you just need to be one step ahead. That's it, to help someone else. You don't have to be like the guru in your field.
It's true.
So,
yeah, that's powerful. Because, I mean, and the age doesn't matter either.
right.
Because some people...
ages are massively different in our group. And the careers are different, but it's people with the right energy. That's why I put them together. It's just people I feel like that would lift me up, and I'd love lifting up. So that was the key foundation of this group.
I love that. I love hearing about the routine as well, because that's the thing. It's not like some secret formula you have to figure out. I mean, it's just doing what works best for you. Your routine doesn't have to be Shawn's routine.
No,
right?
It's really about like calmly entering the day instead of frantically entering the day. The tone you set at the beginning of your day is going to set the tone for the rest of the day. If you feel buried and frantic, that's going to set the tone for the day. Yeah. If you feel calm and optimistic, that's setting the tone for the day. So whatever works for you to approach your day in a calm and optimistic way, that's going to be key.
I love that, Shawn. Well, hey, I want to be respectful of your time. Again, I'm glad we were able to have this sit-down chat. Where can the audience, the listeners, the viewers find you on social media? I'm sure you have a website, and of course, your book. I know that's coming out and everything. So kind of let the audience know about where they can find you and everything.
Yeah, so ShawnWells.com, SHAWN, ShawnWells.com, and then on Instagram at Shawn Wells, which I got thanks to these guys. Thank you.
Absolutely.
And then EnergyFormula.com is the book site where you can get some extras. There's a energy, it's fasting for energy guide with has your fasting type in it, and then a hidden chapter on natural movement. So you get some extras if you want that with the book, or you can go directly to Amazon and buy it there. Right now it's 99 cents pre-sale for the ebook, and the hardcover will be announced. It's coming out in a couple weeks, and that'll be $40. Cost me $39.80. So that's an amazing book. It has like 70 diagrams, full color, surveys that you can take to understand where you're at. These formulators corners that have the doses, forms, brands of all the supplements in every chapter, resource hacks that go through the apps, the products, the devices that you want to use. This book is just chock full of everything you want biohacking. It's got all the scientific citations, but it's very mainstream accessible. It's not as hardcore as some of these other books in that category would be. I really wanted to be something that my mom could use.
Yeah.
And so I'm very proud of where that's ended up. And yeah, I'd love to answer any questions you guys have. If you want to DM me, check out my site, anything. So I'm here for you guys, and like to say thank you to your team as well.
Thank you, Shawn. I know for a solid fact, I'm going to be copping that hardcover version of the book. I love reading books, just physical, the touch of it in person. Like you said, it's not something that is some equation to read. It's for everybody to read. And again, with everything that Shawn has mentioned on this podcast episode, as well as what he represents, I highly recommend that you guys go cop the book as well. I will provide the links below for you to check it out, as well as all of his social media. Shawn, it's been a pleasure, brother.
Oh, last thing. Check me out, Clubhouse.
Hey, Clubhouse.
I'm blowing up on Clubhouse at Biohacking. I'm on there. It's crazy. I'm doing tons of episodes a week, so check me out on there.
Yeah, I'll attach it. Gotcha.